Okay guys, I'm here with a Benchmade Leuku. I probably butchered that knife. I'm sure there's better ways of saying it, but Leuku knife from Benchmade. It's their take on a traditional Finnish design that's been around for ages and ages. I have to say it's very clean looking, wouldn't you say? I mean, barely any lines, a couple of lines, and that's it. They call it a knife. So really good to look at, clean. You don't get a lot of protection on your fingers if you were to sleep up, but with this texture and this rubbery handle, I don't think you're going to sleep up whatsoever. The blade is just over 5 inches in length. Later on in the tabletop, I can expand on the details. This is just a quick cut-in demo in the wilderness of a state forest. So the steel is 3V printed right here on the blade. I only have one blade in 3V, and that's a pretty tough guy. So I'm excited about this one. It's fairly new. I wish the handle was a little thicker for guidance, for comparison. Let me just show you quickly the pterosaur by Condor. So similar knives, a little bit thicker handle on the Condor. Just not by much, but it is a little bit thicker and taller. So I think Benchmade is going for as compact as possible Leuku here, right? So that's their interpretation of it. As a design alone, if I didn't have this bad boy, an original Leuku made in Finland, to compare it to, I would say it's a big win, right? I know it's not a traditional. I know it's not respecting all the lines and dimensions of a true Leuku. However, by itself, evaluating the knife as it is, it really is an amazing design. I mean, I really like it. Very clean, compact, and lightweight. Let's see how it cuts. I have a bad cut on my hands, so let me put on some gloves, guys. 1 second. All right, let's do some chopping, shall we? 5.5 inches of blade. Don't get you a lot of cutting leverage. You're gonna get tired doing this. I mean, just do it for small branches when you want to delimb a branch for whatever purpose. This is extremely inefficient, so don't do this unless you absolutely have to. Okay, so let's do some whittling. A typical activity that you would do to start a fire. It's sharp. The edge is almost factory edge. I haven't cut anything substantial with it. Real quickly you see that it doesn't perform the same way that a pterosaur with a Scandi grind will perform. Let me go for the edge here. Let's see if this is better. Yeah, a little bit easier on the edge. Yeah, I have a lot more control with the pterosaur and more than I do with this. It must be me, or what I think it is, the V grind, the type of edge that we have. I mean, it's cutting. I can collect all of these pieces and start a fire the same way, to be honest, right? It's just not as clean. I mean, pterosaur, Scandi grind. It's just easier. Okay, let's go to town on this harder wood. Let's see what the Benchmade Leuku can do. That was relatively easy. You appreciate these longer blades when batoning, you know, compared to your typical moras or the pterosaur that we just looked at. It's a little bit easier. The handle becomes a little skinny as I'm facing what appears to be a nut right there. So the handle becomes a little bit skinny and it pushes up on my hand. It's not as round as I would like. I would appreciate a rounder profile. I know Benchmade is going for compactness here though. Yeah, that's not comfortable whatsoever. So comfortable when cutting, not when batoning though. It wants to push up way too hard I have little protection here. See, I cannot push back as much as I want to because of how uncomfortable it is. Although I'm facing a couple of knots here, looks like. All right, there we go. Man, that was hard. Yeah, a couple of knots. One here, one here. Okay, let's see the edge. Yeah, as expected, absolutely no damage. Sorry guys, absolutely no damage to the edge. Okay, let's sharpen up a 10th peg. Just picture that this is a 10th peg, guys. Obviously, a giant would have to use this as a 10th peg. This wood is pretty nutty, giving me a hard time. I don't know, cutting performance is not as high. Okay, here it's doing better. On the really difficult, gnarly pieces of wood, it gets taut more than I would like to see. All right. Again, compared to a pterosaur, oof, much better. At least 40% better. Easier to cut. More steel, better steel, not as good on wood. I know I'm picky.